All right. Ian, real quick on this one. Our pal Metal Jesus Rocks likes to review all the new tech devices to help you to make your retro games modern and fresh again. A new coat of paint on them. So this is something that slipped by my radar, and this is why you send stuff out to people to review, so people find out about it. It's the GBA Consolizer. It's a kit. Retails for $170 for a kit to make your GBA playable with 720p output on your HD TV.
Looks nice.
HDMI output. So, through the review, it's in the title. I don't have to watch it, but check out the Metal Jesus video. I'll link it here somewhere. Stunning HD and zero lag. I think that's probably the biggest takeaway here is that zero lag. Because from what I know with the emulation on a Retron 5, you're not getting zero lag when you're emulating through that and then outputting through like a Retron. Because you can play Game Boy, games in GBA on a Retron 5 if it still works once you turn it on after a year. So you get 720p digital output. There's also a 3.5 audio out from the original console. If you want, I guess if whatever you're playing on doesn't support that, or with headphones, you can do that. What you also get ways to change the red, green, and blues on this and the gamma, so you can adjust how it looks. Because there's something I read which is really interesting about how, because there was no backlight on the original GBA, how devs would have to screw with the color scheme to help our eyes out to play something with no backlight on that original, because that was rough. The original GBA.
It was the darkest, shittiest.
It was rough.
Screen I've ever used.
It was rough.
People are like, "Oh, I don't want to do anything without a backlight because the GBA is awful." And it's like, Neo Geo Pocket Color is fine. Game Boy Pocket is fine. Like, there's plenty of non-lit screens that are decent, but that was not one of them.
So the point is that the way they screw with the colors might look kind of weird on a backlit LCD or LED TV. So it gives you the option at least to screw with the colors, which is nice, and add scale lines and do some stuff that you can do on on modern FPGA consoles or emulators at least. So to me, that's good. So it's $170 for the kit, but if you want it fully assembled, it's $350.
Jesus.
Which basically makes it a case that you put around your GBA and plug it in. So I don't know. If you think I know nothing about the Genesis, Ian, I know enough. I know nothing about the Game Boy Advance and its library.
Wow, I never thought I'd hear you say that.
I know nothing about the GBA?
Yeah, a system.
I mean, like, nothing. I don't know any of the heavy hitters, really. I don't know the saturation of the market, how many people still seek it out. GBA to me is the most foreign thing. So you take it away, Ian.
It's very popular. People buy it all the time, but it is humorous because I was talking to someone at the store yesterday who was buying some GBA games, and they were like, "Do you know the GBA fairly well?" I'm like, honestly, it's one of the systems, that and the Xbox, that I know the least. And the GBA was just because it came out the year I graduated high school. I moved out soon after. I just didn't. I had one. So did my brother, and I played some stuff like Advance Wars, and I played some of the Castlevanias, but I didn't play it a lot. So honestly, I'm not hugely knowledgeable on it either. I can say that I sell a lot of GBA games, and that people are calling me all the time for Game Boy Advance SPs. I know it's very popular, and the system itself.
But they also want SPs probably for Game Boy Color and Game Boy games too.
Well, Game Boy Advance does it as well. Yeah, but yes.
Yeah.
The SP is nice because it can do all of that.
I love the SP. It's brilliant.
So yeah, I mean, it's a big enough market that I think if this does Game Boy, it does. Yeah, I saw that. So
yeah, it's GBA. It'll play original Game Boy and Game Boy Color.
I think it's got a decent enough market if you take into account all of those games, but the price point may keep people away.
Yeah, it's one of those weird sort of things. It's like, how many people are clamoring to play this on a TV versus being satisfied with it in handheld? I think that's really the discussion, and obviously the price is a big factor. The good news is that like a flash cart for a GBA is like under $30. So if you wanted like an all-in-one sort of solution where you're like, oh, I want to, all the GBA library is 2,000 games. It's like it's gigantic, isn't it? How many GBA games are there?
It's There's a lot of them.
There's a lot. If you do all the regions, obviously there's a lot of shovelware though too on the GBA. We also know that. But I think once you get to $200 for a price point and any of these, retro fresh coat of paint things, you really have to know that there's an audience for it. And so at $170, I don't know if there's an audience for it, and you got to put it together yourself for $170. So now, for the fact that they're charging double, $350 for it to be put together, it doesn't sound easy to put this together. Then if they're charging double the amount in order to do it,
I don't think it'll matter in the end though.
It's a niche product.
It was
right?
Yeah. It's not meant to be sold in mass quantities. The guy's probably not sitting on a warehouse full of these.
I hope not.
I mean, it's probably it costs that much because he's sourcing the parts and putting them all in a box for you, or he's probably putting it together for you by himself.
This is from Woozle, by the way.
So it's cool, but yeah, selling a bunch probably isn't his intent. His intent is probably, hey, someone else wants this. Cool, I've got something for you.
And you get the cool thing is that you can get all different colors of the casing for this. That's great. There's like all different options, color options. There's like 20 different color options over. You can get Golden Rush or High Five Blue, Ian. I like the High Five Blue there.
High Five Blue. I like that. It's a good.
You like the High Five Blue?
It's a good sounding name.
Color. What's cool is that there's a built-in little Super Nintendo controller port. Mm-hmm. That's great. That's just a great idea. You figure
that is.
Yeah, it's just a simple idea because you could have went cheap and just did, we'll just do a USB out. It's like, no, Super Nintendo. You got a controller laying around, throw it in there. Use it. Because basically it's like a Super Nintendo. It's like a portable Super Nintendo at GBA when you get down to it. It's comparable when it comes to how the games look and the technical capabilities. Am I that off? It's in the ballpark there. So yeah, it's a cool device to have. That I love that these exist, but this is something that you have to really love the GBA, and you are clamoring to play it on the TV. So I don't know if that means there's 500 people out there that want it. If there's 150, 200 people, there's 1,000 that want it. $350 for it altogether. That's gonna keep some people away, I think.